talking about 8 things that I love about living in the city after moving here over 2 years ago, and these are the things that I still love most about living in Buenos Aires. And one of the things on my list is for sure walkability. You can really get to anywhere in the city just by walking. And although the public transportation is great, you have buses, subways, trains, we actually spend most of our time walking in the city because it's just so walkable. Some of the main tourist destinations, you can hit all of them in a day just by walking. We average around 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day just living in the city. Another thing that I did not come to Argentina loving, it actually made me very nervous, very scared, very intimidating. But after living here for over 2 years, I've learned to really love it. And I don't know how I could have a future without using this. This is gonna sound crazy to a lot of people, and especially if you've been following my channel since the very beginning of my journey here. But I gotta say it, I really enjoy using vos, like saying tenés, querés, podés. I really enjoy using that in the Spanish language. And I've grown to really love using the je pronunciation here, like saying frutilla or Asia or Plaza de Mayo. It feels so weird to me to say ella or tiene. Not using the Argentine pronunciation or the vos is not an option anymore. It's the default, and at first it made me very nervous because it seemed like a whole new language. It didn't seem like Spanish to me when I first moved here, and now it's natural. And once you get accustomed to using it, you'll realize how fun it is. Intimidating at first, but it ends up being really fun. Behind me, they're setting up an event for tomorrow at 12, which is another thing I wasn't even planning on talking about, but since we're right here and they're setting it up behind us, there's always something going on in the city. There's literally always something going on, and they're setting up the day before for something huge that's gonna happen. They do a lot of cultural events. I've shown lots of food events happening on the vlog that they do throughout the year, so there's always something going on. I recommend following the BA Instagram. That's a great place if you're here traveling, touristing, and just wanna see what's going on in the city. Or if you live here and you wanna do something fun, check that out. Another thing that has to be added to the list, which I really believe separates Buenos Aires from other big cities around the world, is how many green spaces there actually are. This includes plazas and parks, because every 10, 15, 20 minutes of walking around the city, you are for sure going to come across a plaza or a park. And I love that these green spaces are actually utilized. You'll see dogs running around, people having a mate, people having a picnic. Not only are there so many green areas, but they're actually utilized, which I feel like is awesome. And with that too, we have to talk about one of our favorite things about Buenos Aires, trees. Because this city gets so hot with the sun, I'm standing in the sun right now, it's only like 70 degrees, but standing in the sun makes it feel so much more intense. The city has strategically planted trees all around the city. One, it's beautiful, but two, it really helps by walking in the shade. With green spaces comes purple leaves, and the purple trees, I don't know, I'm gonna butcher that name. Haranca? Hanananta? Haranca? Jacaranda. The purple trees that bloom in springtime, we are in peak spring season in Buenos Aires right now with the purple leaves popping up on the city. It's literally like something you see from a movie. It makes you feel so inspired. You want to get out into the city and you want to see the beauty of it. It's at the top of my list, for sure. Michael, what's your favorite part about Buenos Aires?
Trees.
absolutely love about Buenos Aires is that there are so many ferias or markets going around the city. Specifically on the weekend, if you go to like any green plaza, park area, you're likely going to come across one. The one behind me right now is one of the most popular ones in Buenos Aires. It's called the San Telmo Market. It's huge. It's literally filled with so many good artisanal crafts. It's one of my favorites, so I'm happy that we're coming here today. But there are so many around the city. I do mention this a lot in my vlogs. If you go to like any plaza on the weekend, if you're looking to do something else, there are many options. The one behind me is more for like tourists, souvenirs, crafts, clothing, mates, things like that. But throughout the city, there's a lot of useful ones. And one of the ones that I really like on the weekends, you can find food-specific markets. A truck or multiple trucks or stands will come to a plaza or a park on the weekend, and they typically have pretty good deals on fruits and veggies and meats and things like that. So it's another fun way to get groceries and go grocery shopping here. There are several supermarkets throughout the city. There's also tons of fruit stands and vegetable stands, so you can always get fresh produce. But again, the ones on the weekends typically have a better deal. Think of Argentina, you probably think about like how good the meat is here, the steak, the asado, the chori, and all those things. But one thing that I think, in a way, this may be a hot take, beats the steak and the meats are the panaderias, the baked goods, the media lunas, the sweet treats. That is a highlight for me of living in Argentina. I eat so many more media lunas. I go to the bakery so often, so much more compared to eating choripan and an asado and bife de chorizo and all those other types of meat. For me, the panaderias, the baked goods, the media lunas, I just think that's so much better. I'm not saying the meat's not good. It is good. I am a factura girly. Coming from the US, yes, there are bakeries and cafes, but like the ability to just walk down your street and pick up fresh bread in the morning, that's not a cafe. And here in Argentina, there's cafes and there's also bakeries. There's panaderias and things like that. So that does exist in the US too, but here, like, it's so much more profound. Also, speaking of that, we did get a choripan from the place in the San Telmo Market, and I have consistently said on this channel that you will not catch me eating a 10K chori. Like, you just... Fair. However, many of you guys have recommended us to go to the chori place in the San Telmo Market, and we finally did it. We said today was the day to do it, and I guess I can say I didn't buy a 10K chori. I bought a 9,500 peso chori. Technically, I feel like many touristy places like that where people are like, oh, you have to go and get the food, it's not always a 10 out of 10. We know tourist traps exist all throughout the world, but that chori I just had, it really lives up to the hype. So if you're looking for something delicious to eat, I would recommend that. I really love about Buenos Aires is the cafe culture here, and I have said this consistently since I moved here. I feel like in the US, the art of drinking a coffee and experiencing that time in the cafe to really just enjoy your surrounding and enjoy the cafe for what it is. I feel like that has kind of been lost in the US. We know that grab and go culture, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts are huge in the US. But here, yes, Starbucks exists, Dunkin' Donuts doesn't. But there are so many cafes here where you will find people consistently from morning to night just drinking a cafe, talking with people over a coffee. And I think that's really special. And it's definitely a thing that I started to incorporate into my routines. Like before in the US, I did drink coffee, but it was always like a coffee to go. Now I really look forward to having a coffee in the cafe and just like enjoying that experience. I think it's really special. I think it's a lost art in the US with all the grab and go type cultures and the drive-thrus. Drive-thrus here also aren't really common, but like little by little they are creeping up. And also I say that the grab and go culture in the US is really big. That's not to say that grab and go culture like para llevar, to take it to go, does not exist here in Buenos Aires. It has become more popular since I moved here. I feel like when I moved here in 2023, you didn't see just a coffee stand where you could order coffee and take it to go. Now, those have popped up all over in the city. So I really hope the culture of drinking cafe isn't changing here and won't change here. Another cultural aspect that I really enjoy in Buenos Aires is how people appreciate books and read books. There's so many bookstores throughout the city. There are so many librerias. So many people read books here. You'll see people on the subway reading books, in the parks reading books. Just everywhere, I feel like you are surrounded by books in the cities. And I feel like in the US, book talk culture is really big. And I am a consumer of book talk books. I do find many of my books from there. I won't lie. Here, I see a lot of older types of books, realistic books, books about philosophy and the economy and the history of Argentina. I feel like the types of books that people read here, from what I see just like walking around the city, taking the public transportation system, is much different than the books that we tend to consume in the US. I feel like in the US, we read a lot of self-help books. Of course, book talk books like romantic books, fictional books, fantasy books. I feel like in recent years, those have gotten really big in addition to self-help books. And I feel like us reading books in the US has become more and more popular throughout the years, and I think book talk has played a huge role in that. But here I think the importance of reading books and like the emphasis that I feel like families and schools and society places on reading books is really, really big. So it's like really inspiring to be a part of that, and living here in Buenos Aires, being surrounded by so many people who read books is really inspiring. And it inspires me to read more books. And also, Buenos Aires in particular has 25 bookstores for every 100,000 people. Buenos Aires also is considered one of the highest number of bookstores per capita in the world. So you are surrounded by books. If you love history, if you love literature, this is the place for you. And I talked earlier about events and things going on in the city, specifically in the spring and summertime. There's always something going on. And literally a few weeks ago, there was Night of the Museum. If you're into arts, Buenos Aires opened up all of its museums for free, and you could go to the museum until like 2 a.m. Like, that's really cool. The emphasis on arts here is really big, and encouraging people to go to museums and things like that is really big too. And there's also a bookstore night where I think like in like the center of the city, there's going to be bookstores open until like 2 a.m. and there's going to be really good deals on books. So it's like nice that the city participates in promoting these cultural events to get people interested in the arts and reading and learning more. I feel like that's really powerful and super beneficial. And of course, one of my favorite things about Buenos Aires is the dog friendliness of the city. Max, my dog that you see here, flew with us from New York to Buenos Aires, and honestly, he has so much more fun here. He goes to the dog park so much more. He has so many friends on the street. So many people are excited to see him and pet him and say hi to him, and it's just been awesome. So having a dog in the city is so fun for both the owner and the pet. And those are just a few of the things that I love most about living in Buenos Aires, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It was good. I did good.
That's good.
I think that's good. It makes shopping a fun experience too. Except when you have to bring it all home in a bag because you don't have a car. Only one of us does the holding the bag part.
Yeah, the other one does the shopping, but one does the holding the bag. What's that about?
One of us does the picking out and the other one does the holding the bag. I keep wanting to say like tomar un café, like taking a coffee.
Just say it, process it.
I don't know.